Africa did talk to Lyndon Burns about the rising cost of jet fuel, aviation fuel. But I want to chat now to somebody in the industry, Kirby Gordon, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at FlySafair. Kirby, good afternoon.
Afternoon, John. Hi.
Look, I mean, the prices have, on average, tripled or tripled at times, then come down again, but always more than double than what it was per litre when this all started?
Yeah, I think you've summarized it quite nicely. It's obviously a moving target as the price of oil and of course that crack spread shift from week to week, but it certainly doesn't seem to be coming down very much at all. I mean, it's definitely going up far more than anything else.
And just remind us what FlySafair's response has been in terms of surcharges added to new flights. I presume that previously booked flights continue at the price at which they were bought, but surcharge on flights booked subsequent to these prices scooting up like that, and the degree to which you have or have not changed routes, consolidated flights, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's obviously a need for a recovery of some sort. So we're seeing airlines across the board either just increasing their base fares or actually including a surcharge. We decided to take the route where we publish a very specific surcharge as a line item on all flights, just so that we can really maintain some transparency around that. And those are published onto our website and updated on a weekly basis. And fortunately, actually, at the moment, I was taking a quick look at them before the call, and they've actually gone down slightly this last week, which is great, and long may that last, but we'll have to see how they persist over the next little while as we move through the next iteration of geopolitical realities. So that's the one thing, obviously, that we need to try and do as airlines is try and recover to a certain extent. But of course, at a higher price point, we operate in a sort of traded market, so to speak. So, when you're forcing a higher price point like this, what does fall away is the demand. And of course, that is what we're seeing now. We've been sheltered to some degree with these long weekends now, but I mean, specifically going into May, there's not a lot beyond this first long weekend and the 1st of May being the public holiday that'll really happen in the month. It's traditionally quite a quiet month for us anyway, and it's certainly looking to be that way given these prices.
Okay, can I have some detail?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So you mean in terms of
well, in terms of both the surcharges? You said they've gone down, and I mean, is it a question of depending on which flight you're taking, or for the next, if you're booking for flights between tomorrow and 10 days' time, this is the surcharge you're going to pay? How does it work?
Right. So what we've done is we've taken a view that we're applying a surcharge to flights that depart from now to about 4 months out. So that's the rolling view at this stage. The surcharge
and that is a standard stable surcharge across all of the flights booked for that period.
It's a stable surcharge that is applied to all of those flights. It's calculated by route, so it's not equal.
Okay.
Obviously, the longer you fly, the more fuel you burn. So we've calculated it out to try and maintain some transparency. So, for example, on a flight from Johannesburg to Cape Town at the moment, you'll be looking at this week at a surcharge of 786 Rand, and it's about half of that 434 if you're heading from Joburg to Durban, which is obviously a slightly shorter flight. So it's very much calculated on the basis of the distance, and then that is, as I say, applied, for purchases now to whenever it is between now and four months out.
And if this situation, we hope it is so, but there's no evidence that it is going to be so, but if the situation does resolve itself in the next couple of weeks, and by the end of May, crude oil prices are back below $80 a barrel and jet fuel prices come down accordingly, do you re-look at that, or is that's the way it is, folks? If you book between now and May, June, July, August, end of August, that you are going to pay. If you're flying one way between Johannesburg and Cape Town, you're going to pay a surcharge of 786 Rand.
No, I mean, from your lips to God's ears on things returning to normal
Yeah.
that quickly, that would be fantastic. But no, so our intention is to maintain full transparency on this. We adjust these prices as they are every week based on what's happening at any given point, if there is some traffic through the strait or not. So that's a changing reality for us, which we're obviously then trying to be very transparent about. And, in that wonderful scenario where everything returns to normal, our full intention is to remove the surcharge and then certainly to look at what the realities are for those customers who had paid it in advance of, flights that were further out. We really want to try and maintain some kind of open transparency on the whole thing, which has really been our approach to it. So rather than just sinking a surcharge into a fare and letting it be somewhere there in the ether, sort of obscurely mixed in amongst all the other charges, we really want to hold it out as a line item for that reason.
And that 786 Rand surcharge, I haven't flown between Johannesburg and Cape Town for a very long time. So what is the, and again, I understand that certain flights are less desirable because they're at certain times of the day, so there isn't a standard price for a flight between Johannesburg and Cape Town. But that
Sure.
786 Rand is a 25% surcharge, 30% surcharge, 10%, 50% surcharge?
No, I think at this stage, if you're looking at 786, you're looking at about a 40% surcharge on the
That's
standard flight price.
substantial. That's
Yeah, it is.
substantial.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, fuel is a massive part of our direct operating costs and on operating any flight, and obviously with these kinds of increases, it's significant.
And then detail on the cancellation consolidation of flights. I mean, how far-reaching is that if you were doing 20 flights, well, 20, let's say 20 flights a day between Johannesburg and Cape Town? Because of this, that's gone down to 15, 10, what?
Yeah, so I mean, as I said, it is something that we normally see the industry doing over the period of May, and the way that we kind of work it as airlines is we obviously choose our softer periods to take our aircraft off the line and put them into maintenance, and then you make sure that you can fly them full tilt during December, for example, when it's busiest. So I did a little analysis on the South African domestic airlift, and what I found is over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, the average contraction on the number of seats in the market was sort of between 10 and 12% across all airlines, whereas now this year, as it stands now, going into May, we're seeing that down by about 16 to 17%. So there certainly is a reduction on the seats in the market, which is very much akin to what we're doing as well across the board. So we are having to pull them out, somewhat. So you're looking at about 1 in 5 flights, 2 and just about 1.6 in 10. So there is definitely a reduction on that capacity because there just isn't the same demand.
And then just to finish off with, I got a WhatsApp from a listener, Paulo, who notes that Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam has reduced airport taxes by 10% to assist airlines and passengers in respective cost of air tickets. He asked, why is there? But I'm saying is there pressure being put on AXA, or they're not? Let's not talk about pressure. Let's talk about discussions with AXA to do similar in the South African context, given how high airport taxes are as a percentage of air ticket prices.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think those discussions abound on every level. There are obviously a number of factors that come into play. There are the likes of AXA, where there are the passenger charges and the surcharges there. There are also, of course, the fees that we pay from a landing fee perspective. There are all of the associated charges with, air services, navigation, etc. And then, of course, there's the opportunity for some degree of government intervention and subsidy as well, which, of course, we're seeing in the kind of retail market. So all of those conversations are ongoing. I think at this stage, it is a matter of monitoring the market and seeing what happens. But aviation, as with any form of transportation, is a backbone element of the economic infrastructure within a country. And so I think there certainly is a heightened awareness to these sorts of things. Obviously, no one's committed to anything just yet. But I think the industry is pretty good at looking at problems and trying to find dynamic ways to solve them.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Much appreciated. Kirby Gordon is the Chief Marketing Officer of FlySafair.